Good morning from Liquor Depot on Waters Avenue. So, a quick little segment about the retail business, not just the alcoholic beverage industry, but any store you go into. Everything that you see on these shelves and in this store, unless it's a fixture, is something with a barcode on it and an SKU number. And all of these items come into these retail stores on an invoice. And when you actually walk around and grasp how many products and how many SKUs there are, it is absolutely overwhelming. In just a little bit, I'll show you what the stack looks like and what we have to do with them.
Hey everyone, I'm Trey. And that guy is Frank, aka my dad. Our family has been in the alcohol business for over 30 years. We currently have 6 liquor stores and 2 bars in Tampa, Florida. Subscribe to our channel to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to operate in the liquor industry.
Trey, how do I get this camera to work?
Here's the liquor store back room. This is where we pick up our receipts from the previous day. This is where the invoices will typically be, right on this desk. And these invoices represent everything that has come into that store the previous day. And from there, Trey or I, usually Trey, will take all these invoices to an office and I'll show you what happens from there. Okay, we're in the office of our store, and I walked you through some of those shelves and just kind of gave you an idea of all of the items that are on those shelves. And then I told you about invoices. And invoices are basically the paperwork we get that has all of the items that we bought from the distributor, and it gives us our pricing, it gives us the quantity that came in, and it is the tool we need to help us price the products and get it on the shelf and in our system. The big thing is we get a ton of invoices. So every week between 6 stores, we get at least 4 beer, potentially 3 or 4 tobacco, cigars, that's including vapes and lighters, cigarettes. The beers, we have 2 big ones, 2 big distributors, and then we also have a few of the little craft distributors. Then of course we have Coca-Cola and Pepsi products that come in, and those are another invoice. And all of these invoices are big and long, and they're also hard to read. So Trey is out of town this week, and as I look at these, it's pretty wild, all the information, but also how small it is, and they expect an old man to read it. In addition to that, we also have a company that comes in and gives us all the fountain drinks in the bars, the CO2 that helps the guns spray that into people's cups before we add a little liquor to it. They're endless. The liquor invoices we get twice a week, and they all typically look like this. Different distributors have different styles, but they all are long and informative. Now, the big thing is that we check on these invoices our pricing, and pricing we get in certain ways with quantity purchases. We get them with not just if we buy 10 cases of Jack Daniels, it's a better price, but sometimes a Jack Daniels family will give us a better price. Oftentimes the beer, that's probably for me the most confusing, is that sometimes you get this discount of 90 cents for a case of Corona 24 7 ounce, and sometimes you don't. And so you have to be very thorough about checking these, because there's been plenty of times that I've walked in and looked at my shelf price in the cooler and then looked at an invoice and realized I was actually selling it for either cost or sometimes even below cost, which is not how you make money to pay the bills. The bills are certainly a different thing in this business. We're talking about invoices today, but the bills are the same thing that we all have at home. Power and insurance and water and rent or a mortgage. So this is just a little peek into what we have to do. And to give you a little more detailed look, our system is once it's highlighted, that means that somebody has checked this invoice against our POS system and saw that Hendrix Gin 1.75 is indeed priced off of the cost of $55.85. So listen, I'm not smart enough with the whole margin and markup. I can chat GPT it and read it to you. What I have and what I've had for 30 years is a little cheat sheet that tells me on beer I have a particular formula to mark up to produce a profit margin, and not just beer but all the different packs and sizes. So if it's a quart or a single, it might have a different markup than a 12 pack, 18 pack, or a 24 pack. Sodas and juices, cigarettes, they all have a different markup, and I made it simple where I take my cost, I multiply it out, and it gives me a selling price that gives me the correct profit margin. And probably everybody would be surprised that profit margins usually in this business hover, once it's averaged out, to maybe 25%. So it's not like you're buying clothes, you're buying furniture and getting 50, 60, 70% on a markup. But this is what we do. We have to sell a lot of it to pay the bills. So another thing about pricing, having 6 stores, we in Florida created, which is something that we can do our own little buying pool group. They call it a pool buying group or a co-op. And so all of the stores that we have can get quantity pricing on these sizes or quantity deals that I buy. So if I buy 100 cases or 150 cases of Bacardi, I'll get a much better price than if I was one store and only was able to buy 10 cases. And with that pricing, we can be a little more competitive with the bigger stores. And even though we have 6 locations, we are still considered a small independent. And here in Florida, we have chains with 150 stores. We have big, huge box warehouse type stores. We have Sam's Club we're competing with. We have our grocery stores we're competing with. We have drug stores we compete with. And our challenge every day is to try to be as competitive and give the customer everything that they are hoping for in an experience in the store. And that's, clean, good selection, friendly folks, and kind of the neighborhood shop local vibe is what Trey has been really pushing too. These invoices also, let's talk about paying them. They got to be paid everything but the liquor. The big boys have to be paid COD. You have to write them a check right when it comes in. All the beer, juices, tobacco, everything. You got to stroke them a check. The liquor, we have 10 days to pay it. So I get a particular item in today, for example. Fridays we take deliveries, and that invoice has to be paid the following Monday. So 10 business days, and then that big old chunk of money is out of your checking account. So you best have it in it. Now, also with these invoices, all of this has to get checked into the store. So when they come in with this giant invoice or this giant invoice, this one's even bigger. So this invoice is what they present to one of our team members here, and the driver usually brings it in on a big hand truck, and he starts going, okay, we have Bud Light, 6 4-pack 16-ounce cans, and you ordered how many are there total? 1 of them. And so we have to visually see that on there and then check it off that came in, and then we know we got the product. Because if you write a check for something you didn't get, there's another reason you're not making money or paying the rent. So that is an important part of the puzzle, and also it's time consuming, and it also sometimes interferes with the experience of one of the guests, one of the customers coming in, when you have a hand truck pulled up in front of the counter and you have to navigate around it, and then my whoever's working the register is going to be checking this out and trying to take care of them. So I don't think there's a good solution for that, at least in our world. We do take all of the liquor in really early in the mornings, and we have a dedicated team for that, so that certainly helps. But the beer is probably the biggest challenge on that. Lori,
Yes.
I got a question. Did I scare you?
Yes.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Frank.
So, do you like or dislike checking in beer invoices? When they come in, do you like it? Is it hard?
No, it's not hard.
It looks hard.
It's not hard.
Okay.
Why?
I'm just curious.
You're not happy? You're not happy with
No,
what
I'm very happy with it.
No, I'm not.
I just
The
want to
guys
know if it's hard.
The guys make it easy for
Do
you.
they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they point to stuff and
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I'm doing a quick little bit on all the stuff that's got to come in these stores and how it
Yeah, no,
gets checked
it's
in.
really easy.
Okay.
Now that I know it.
Well, I was sitting there saying it wasn't that easy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we just go right down the list and check it off. It really is. The points, I check.
Aaron, do you like checking in beer invoices?
Love all the info, Frank, but I don't think you've done invoices in 4 years, so they may have changed a little during your time, but a lot of the information was correct. These big invoices that are coming in weekly, this is 1 week, so you really have to be on top of it, because if you're not on top of it, they stack up and I'll be sitting here forever. And so what I basically do is that I'll pick up these invoices from the warehouse, and then I get to go through each one. And here's the frustrating part about it for me too, is that they all look different. So right here you go, these are gonna be Breakthrough Distributing that I've talked to before. And then you have some of these little guys from RNDC. And then you have Southern Wine and Spirits, which they're our biggest distributor, and oh my gosh, the smallest little numbers, smallest little letters. Oh, this is my worst enemy. Southern Wine and Spirits, I hate your invoices. Johnson Brothers. So those are kind of the core 4 distributors that we get Wednesdays and Fridays. And so what I have to do now is I pull up my POS system, and then I literally go by line and just make sure the cost is correct, the way that I bought was correct, checking it in the system and making sure that cost is not only correct, but then my price is correct, and then it's also correct for all 6 locations. I have definitely seen a couple times where I am all good to go at maybe the Bear store, but Nebraska or Armenia or one of these locations didn't get fixed, and they are different. So not super fun. This is something that I would not say is my favorite part of the business, but maybe one of the most important, because it all comes down to price, and it all comes down to making sure those margins are correct.
Annually change the price as we change. You